Hi, it's Only Light Matters here. Last time we left an almost dramatic cliffhanger, wondering if two launched vessels were going to make it. Without further ado, let's see what it is. Hi Bob, how are you doing? Good news, you've spent 30 days in space and you are now allowed to come back. You can notice that Bob gains 1 star because he reached orbit. We clean up the messages for our accomplished contracts. This mission gave us 57.5 points of science, which is not so bad. Speaking of contracts, you start to know our routine, and we are no exception to the rule by going to see what we can subscribe to. Rescue around the moon? That's an excellent one. Even we won't do it today. 3 Scansat contracts. They are a good choice because they can be done with the same satellite in polar Earth orbit. It's easy money for us. Regarding the science experiments, take a look at what is ahead of us. Unlocking seismic and gravioli devices will help us to make a great leap forward. We will then be able to send multiple probes on the surface of the moon to harvest every single biome. Indeed, as the gravity experiment needs 90 days to be performed, they cannot be run by crewed missions. It would be complicated to send 17 craft simultaneously for such a long time. This is why we launch a bunch of probes on the surface of the moon to perform these experiments without any Kerbal looking after them. Then we purchase bigger engines and fairings for our Delta IV rocket. That's all for now. Let's move to today's agenda. We will send a new satellite in polar orbit of the Earth to satisfy with the 3 Scansat contracts, send 2 satellites around the Earth for a gravity scan, send 2 rockets for a seismic and gravity scans of the moon, then send a rover on the moon, and finally send a new crewed lander to collect more manned science and to plant a flag on the moon. So we start by sending a new satellite around the Earth. It will perform an altimetry scan, a multispectral and a visual scan. These 3 contracts will provide around 150,000 Kerbals, which is a very good value regarding the cost of the whole rocket. As the inclination required for these experiments is very strong, we have to launch the payload in polar orbit. The next mission we launch is a science one. We can now perform gravity experiments in low and high space around the Earth. We send 2 satellites to divide the whole duration of the mission by 2. While not mandatory, I prefer a polar orbit roughly above the terminator to ensure the probes stay in daylight. This configuration is much more convenient regarding the power management of satellites. This mission is clearly the main objective for today. You've seen how much science is available to us with seismic and gravity experiments on the surface of the moon. Well, we are going to put a probe on every single biome to get the whole of the 2,214 points represented in blue in this array. As there are 17 biomes and we have only 12 probes on a payload, 7 of them will remain in orbit to harvest science. They can also be used as spare probes if some landings were not that successful. So we launched 2 rockets and we send the 2 payloads on a trajectory to the moon. As you can see, we rely on our Delta IV heavy rocket design, which really works pretty well. This time we sent a rover respectfully to a contract we subscribed to during episode 6. It's a mission for money, don't expect science here except the 22 points granted with the contract. Last, we launch another manned craft to the moon. We have some money to make with planting another flag, and we expect to land it science on 3 different biomes. This time an optimized lander has been designed to maximize the delta V hit can angle. As for launches, I skip these operations to fine-tune the trajectory when arriving next to the moon. We've done this dozens of times, there is no point to show more. Let's focus on moon operations now. Well, it appears the Rover will be the first craft to reach the moon. We start a braking maneuver a few minutes ahead the periapsis so that the trajectory finally encounters the surface of the moon. Then we decouple. The TLI stage will crash on the surface and we carry on our braking maneuver to completely deorbit and prepare our landing. We do not have to aim for a specific location to land our rover somewhere on the moon. When landed, I decouple the landing stage. It will make a nice hop to finish like a crushed tin can. Our first bunch of probes also arrives around the moon. We first adopt an elliptical orbit to straddle the high and low space zone around the moon. 4 probes are released in this particular configuration. Then we reach the periapsis and we circle-rise. We would like to do more, but our crewed mission has to be managed. As we did for the Rover mission, our TLI stage is purposely crashed on the moon and we do an avoidance maneuver to save Jeb's life. We stabilize our orbit under a 10 km circular orbit. With the help of Scansat, we'll look at the biomes and check where we could land on 3 or 4 of them. It appears we can do the Mare Serenitatis in green, the Mare Tranquillitatis in cyan, and at least the Oceanus Procellarum in yellow. Our orbit passes above the Mare Serenitatis, so this is where we are going to land. It happens a probe has already landed on this biome, so the only science collected will be related to a Kerbal activity, crew report, EVA report, and surface sample. We have a contract for planting a flag. We take advantage of it to make some money. Then we hop to the next biome. of fuel gauge displays more than 2,500 meters per second of delta V left. We can spend around 1,000 to visit the last biome before getting back to Earth. We choose METOME IMPRO not because it is hard, but because it's the closest. Our last landed operations with this mission are now completed. We go home. Our second bunch of probes now reached the Moon. Like we did before, we placed them in low polar orbit. And because we love to deploy our probes in a creative way, we do it again. Our probes have enough fuel to land on the Moon. The plan now is to put every one of them on a different biome. Once landed, we verify that all science devices are activated, and we rename the probe as a lander with the name of the biome for a better follow-up. Then we do the same thing for another biome. 4 biomes visited gave us nothing less but 750 science points. Well done, Jeb. The design of your ship is quite efficient. Look who's getting back home. Finally, our solar expedition is right here, ready to brave the shock of the atmosphere. The crew lands on a desert, so we collect a total of 126 points of science for this expedition. If we summarize what we did from a moon perspective, we had this situation at the beginning of the episode. It was day 84. And now here we are a few weeks later. We have clearly done the most important thing in the Earth system as far as scientific progress is concerned. Next time we will focus on rescue missions to recruit more Kerbals to expand our team. Take care and don't forget to test is stopped.